have a Tom Steyer person here, and Tom Steyer has been known for his Next Gen Climate, which is a very important group. He spent a lot of money, folks, hiring organizers to go out and educate people about climate change, even after he was a hedge fund operator and had a lot of investments in oil and gas. So I give him credit for changing. Tell us why you're working for him and why you want people to vote for Tom Steyer.
Tom is super inspiring on climate. We're all out here supporting this cause together, and hopefully you guys will watch the debates and learn more about Tom and his platform.
Okay, what? Okay. Well, let's contrast that with how a Bernie supporter would go on and on. I gave him an open mic here and plugged his candidate, and that's what he gave me. And this is Dr. Bill Honigman, who is with Progressive Democrats of America, and he is usually known for his advocacy of single-payer health care. Talk about climate change, why you're here, why you're wearing a Bernie shirt. Tell us how Bernie has the best plan. His plan is $16.3 trillion. Warren's is only $3 trillion to tackle the climate crisis.
So that's why I'm a fan of Bernie's in general, and that's true of healthcare as well as climate, our climate emergency. Bernie Sanders is the lead. When he says he wrote the damn bill, that's because he wrote every damn bill that has to do with those issues of critical importance. What does that mean, that word critical? It means we're in crisis. We're in crisis environmental. On healthcare, on student debt, all those things are critical because we're in crisis. When you're in crisis, you need bold leadership to get out of the crisis, and that's what Bernie Sanders brings to the table. You don't see from anybody else to the degree that you see coming from Bernie Sanders. So what we're talking about when it comes to climate, of course, is first and foremost, we have to declare a climate emergency. Right? So that's what we need. We need that phrase in everyone's lexicon, that we are in the middle of a climate emergency that requires a mass mobilization, a global mobilization that addresses the climate emergency. Bernie Sanders is by far the leader in every respect in terms of addressing the climate crisis with respect to it being a climate emergency. He's written the bill for the Senate side of that declaration of climate emergency. That's S-Con Res 22. And on the House side as well, there aren't nearly enough co-sponsors yet at this point. And so that's what we are here to do, is to show solidarity, number one, and work on the issue politically. If you get behind Bernie Sanders, I think that's great, because then you are behind the champion on our climate emergency, and it's very obvious that he is that by the legislation that he's putting forward.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Bill. Let's ask this guy. Hi there. Why do you like Tom Steyer?
I suppose I support him for climate change purposes. Like, he's been funding climate change groups for almost 10 years now. His main platform, I think, is climate change. So that's about why I support him.
And are you a volunteer or a paid staffer?
That's a good question. I have to wonder if I'm allowed to answer these questions. No, that was my answer. I have to go over here, though, but thank you.
Okay, this is very suspicious, folks. I'm giving Tom Steyer's people a mic. I actually like Tom Steyer, and nobody wants to talk about it. Here we have another one. Let's see. Hi there. So I see you're working for Tom Steyer. So are you a staffer, a volunteer, or what?
I am a volunteer, but I am moving up the chain pretty quickly. I just have a full-time job, so it's hard to commit to both. But I followed Tom Steyer when he was starting the impeach Trump. I signed and followed him since then, and I was hoping that he would run, but he said he absolutely wouldn't. Yeah. And he's the kind of man we need, someone who doesn't want to be president, but who has the skill to get it done. He's really has been a leader in the climate change movement, probably the most of any non-political person that I know.
Bloomberg also.
Yes, you're right. But he's really put his heart and soul into it with creating Next Gen, and now he has Next Gen America, which encompasses more of a comprehensive approach besides just climate change. He's just our man, and I feel like being a white male billionaire might be a little against him. And I actually went to his town hall in Compton last week where the mayor sat him down and the people were in the audience. That was the first question. What can you, white male billionaire, do for me? I live in Compton. And he was so calm. He said, my record speaks for itself. He believes in unions. He believes in the people. He believes in our dinner tables and our daycares.
Yeah, he's got a very good progressive platform, and he also supports public banking. But let me ask you this. He's only getting like 1% in the polls. So don't you think that at some point progressives have to unite behind the most progressive candidate, who is a politician, because you did say he's the non-politician, and Bernie Sanders right now wants to spend $16.3 trillion to attack the climate crisis, which is more than the $3 trillion the next person, who is Elizabeth Warren, wants to spend. That is an astronomical difference in monetary commitment. So at some point, do you think that as we get maybe closer, maybe you want to see a couple of the early states, primaries and caucuses go down first? Do you think at some point we should unite behind, and I'm not going to make you say Bernie if it's not Bernie, but who you feel is the most progressive?
I feel like it's really early, and I feel like, because Bernie's in politics and Elizabeth Warren came up the ranks too, I like them both very much, that we know them, but I don't think we know him yet. So once we know him, I believe we can all make a decision. That's all I'm saying is let us get to know him.
And what is your name?
Oh, Vicky.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. Very articulate spokesperson for Mr. Steyer.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So there we go. I guess it takes a woman, folks. You talk to these men and they're like, whatever. Anyway, Vicky was she made some good answers. I'm going to talk to my friend Lauren Windsor, who's working on Steyer's PR team, and suggest that they give her a promotion. All right, so let's go. And that was not a plug for Tom Steyer. Obviously, Bernie is my guy.